Greetings, precious friends, brothers, sisters, devotees of the divine. In the world, I am known as Dr. Dennis L. Hunter in esoteric circles, and to my closest friends, I'm often known as Adesh Wodan. Today, I'd like to speak about managing the terror of awakening Kundalini, managing the terror of awakening Kundalini. In two previous sessions, part 1 and part 2, I discussed the secret to mastering Kundalini yoga. This is more to be about Kundalini. Kundalini is a Sanskrit term handed down from who knows how many generations. Kundalini is literally and metaphorically seen as a coiled serpent at the base of the spine. It coils around, and the idea is that somehow this energy, through doing Kundalini yoga, can be released, and it'll come up and you'll become some kind of powerful, enlightened, all-knowing being. There's a lot of concern about what it means when Kundalini awakens, what happens. And based upon the numerous explanations I have encountered, either I was born an awakened being full of Kundalini, or when it happens, it may be the most terrifying experience I'll ever have. Kundalini, again, in my definition, it is the life force. It is that energy, that power, that sound, if you will, that vibration, if you prefer, that is within everything. It is within the rocks, the plants, the animals, the planets and individuals. It's in everything. If it exists, it is enlivened and brought to bear by Kundalini energy. Sounds mysterious sometimes, sounds arcane, secretive. I would propose it's time to get out of the box a little bit and move backwards and be respectful and observant, but realize that this is a universal force. It isn't a Kundalini Asian or Buddhist or Hindu or a force belonging to a god called Shiva. It is a universal energy. It is life itself that pulses through your body. The Kundalini, you might say, is your own personal life force, your own personal energy. There are many descriptions of what happens when there's awakening. Some people will supposedly thrash about wildly and their eyes blink and flutter. Some people will get depressed. Some people have all kinds of so-called experiences. I don't know about that. I think those are perhaps experiences that many of us have anyway. The Kundalini mystique, in part, is cultural, because those who taught the Kundalini yoga, they wanted to control and hang on, and to their benefit, to keep pure their teachings, to keep control, and to offer assistance to go through a relationship with a teacher, go through a program until they could accomplish this Kundalini rising experience. First of all, it is just your own life force, your own energy. Can it be dangerous? Well, perhaps, of course. Is fire dangerous? When you use fire, it heats your home. It cooks our food. It fascinates us. It mesmerizes us. We look at fire in a candle, perhaps, to meditate. If you touch it, you can get burned. Do you have to have fire? Perhaps not. Is water dangerous? Well, yeah. Thousands of people drowned every day, or at least every year. And when it rains hard and you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, you can have rocks coming down from the hills, and you can have your homes destroyed. You can have bridges and roads washed out, lives and livelihoods destroyed. So, what about food? Is food dangerous? Well, if you don't have any, you're probably going to wither and die. But if you eat too much of it at the wrong times and the wrong ways for too long, it's probably going to make you sick, or at least not feeling as well or being as healthy as you could have. I propose that is what Kundalini Yoga is like. Kundalini is a fact of life. It exists and it's there. I've seen lists of symptoms that people have with Kundalini Yoga, and some of them have, I swear, over 100. I don't have to swear. Some of them are lists of over 100 things that can be going on with you when your Kundalini is rising. One thing I will say is that in your practice as a yogi, or any practice, the life force should never be provoked. You should never push and force and command and try to make the force come. It's been said there's two ways of doing the force. There's doing the exercises and the locks and the bandhas and forcing it up. And then there's just surrendering. So you surrender, it comes down. So some say the energy goes up, fills the body inside and outside, then it goes down. I say it does both. It doesn't go up or down, it goes up and down. It's a continuous circuit, which we're aware of to a different extent. Electricity, excellent, most wonderful magnetic creation, discovery for us in the universe. It does many wonderful things. If you stick your finger in the socket, bad things can happen. So, first of all, I would like to divorce a bit the idea that Kundalini is the proprietary relationship of yoga. It is your birthright. It is a part of your life force. It is your connection to the soul within, to the higher self, if you will. Vague terms, I know, but we, as mystics, tend to use them. So, always you should use some kind of discretion. There are people who have never done a yoga class in their life, and they wake up one day, they feel a magnificent presence of God, they feel energy pulsing through their body, and they have a mystical experience. Those chakras, that energy can come up many ways, which to me is all yoga, union, and achieving that alignment. So let's not make it such a narrow bugaboo. Also should be realized and understood, and I'm sure most of you do understand, a lot of times when people begin to seek spiritual things, it's because they feel tremendous desire or drawing or trauma, that they really have some emotional and mental unbalances, and wise of them to try to seek to find the comfort, to get that balance, to be more at peace with themselves. But some people come with mental anguish, can lapse into episodes of psychosis and have hallucinations and delusions, even with no Kundalini yoga, but simply because they are drawn to a particular path, a religion, a tradition. So we must needs always keep that it wasn't the path or it wasn't the practice that created difficult things. Some general sensations or forms would be, you can feel actual energy like electricity running through your body. You can feel things relaxing. You can feel heat. You can feel coolness. You can feel sense of pulsing, of vibrating. You can feel an inner body that might gyrate or wobble or what have you. And there are some kind of common things that people may experience when they're having a Kundalini awakening. I don't think you should fear Kundalini. When I say managing the terror of a Kundalini awakening, I say it a bit tongue-in-cheek. But everybody who does open can open up in different ways. Some all at once, profoundly, happening in a few days, a few sessions, a few experiences. And it has a profound impact because it will rewire, and it's like you undo all these blocks, and all this energy and all this power and all this life will start to flow through you. You may not know what it is. It may not make sense to you, and it will challenge and it will eat away at your emotional blocks, your intellectual beliefs, how you perceive the world, how you see other people, how you do many things. So it is a universal experience, the rising of Kundalini. And I would say the times of which people get into the most trouble is in provoking, which I will digress perhaps a bit into Kundalini yoga, the yoga exercises. It's always important to do a balance. This is about balancing. It's about healing. You never need to have a Kundalini experience to do yoga. It can make you feel happier. It can balance you. It can bring joy and peace to your life, make your body stronger, make you healthier, make your eyes brighter, your mind clearer, and give you a sense of connection as you even seek that alignment to whatever degree. There are as many different ways to come into a Kundalini experience of the energy rising as there are people. Some do it slowly over years. They have episodes where they feel perhaps their head getting warm. And along with this comes rushes of energy, and then it leaves and it comes back. Sometimes it's stronger, sometimes it's less. These are all kinds of experiences that you have. So Kundalini is not to be feared. But again, in doing the exercises, lest I digress further, when you are doing your exercises, always is important to have balance. If you do certain kinds of mudras or postures or meditations that emphasize different parts of your body, in your same kriya or set of exercises, you should be doing other exercises that balance those, to keep a balance so you don't build up anything in one particular area, whether it's the circulation or the stimulation of nerves, or whether it's the invisible but ever-present nadis that sometimes people can experience consciously. The nadis are the little points of all of your body here and there. Some seeing them as the acupuncture places or acupressure, perhaps. Balance is extremely important. To that end, a person who's very intellectual might need to work on feeling, getting in touch with their emotions. A person that's just full of emotions might need to get more cognitive. So exercises, the breathing, the breath, the gazing, the fixation, the visualizations, the mudras, the hand gestures, the sound, the mantras, the posturing, the bandhas, the flexing of different areas of your body to retain or hold or push up energy, and the movements, all that should be in balance. However, if you are strong in one area and weaker in another, sometimes exercises are good for a time to exercise one area more to bring it into alignment with the other. Perhaps something's too strong and it needs to relax, be released. And I know I'm talking in generalities, but I'm talking more exclusively to Kundalini. Kundalini is the energy of life. It's your own life. We happen to be living in an extraordinary age. This is a time that's been prophesied about from many of the indigenous. It's come down from many traditions, many religions, many times and many places, that there would come a time upon this planet when there would be an awakening. We are on the verge of that. This is not the dawning of the age of Aquarius. This is post-New Age. We are moving into a recalibration of the physics of life itself. Our entire solar system is moving into a different area where the energies are different. This, we are told, is physics. Some people who study, the astrophysicists, are concerned about those energies, for we're moving out of this, what has been considered a protective radiation belt that has covered this whole area of our galaxy. Well, our solar system is moving out of that into another. And that, as a metaphor or as science, we're going through a massive biological, physical, and conscious change in what it means to be a human being and how we function, how we feel. As a result of that, and those energies which are coming at us from all directions, it might be good to have a practice of yoga or some kind of a practice, something that fits you, that feels right. But even those who don't believe in, never heard of yoga, don't even believe in God, can begin to have these stirrings, can begin to have these energies rising within them. And the management of them is a path in itself, for each will find their own ways. And it is good to share with others the experiences you're having. But I would want to dissuade the idea that it's a horrible, fearful thing. Sometimes it'll be uncomfortable. When you do a diet, sometimes you have hunger pains. And the Kundalini may not come all at once. It's not all at once, boom, and it's all blissful. That does happen. Sometimes you have an opening for a while to let you feel what it's like, and then you settle back down and you allow yourself to feel that nourishing presence. If you have none of these experiences, or you don't know what to expect, it is my tradition not so much to tell you what to expect, because the idea is not to implant in your mind what you think you should experience. So you're sitting there and you're thinking that things are happening, or are they really happening? Are they not? That's not the way. Simply be at peace. Trust your God. Trust the harmony of the universe. Trust the sincerity. Trust the bugs in your hair. I think they're hungry today. So these are just my general comments on the Kundalini. And there are so many sources of things to look up. But when I speak of these things, I'm speaking as a person who, at the ages of 12 or 14, and I'm more than 60 years past that now. And I have thought about these things, and I've looked at different places. I'm a scanner. I've looked at all the ways that people look at things. And as my way is sort of the way of the intellect, or hopefully the way of wisdom, the kind of wisdom not where you know everything, but you know yourself, and you understand your environment, and you're perceptive, and you're able to see patterns. So allow the Kundalini experience to come. If it doesn't feel good what you're doing, stop it. If you put your hand to the warm fire and it feels good, that's wonderful. If it starts to burn, move your hand back out of it. If you like swimming in water, fine. If suddenly you're drowning, then perhaps you ought to find a way to back off or get out of it. These are the only things that I would say. But there are many sensations, many paradigms. But what it is a total transformation of your body. That's your physical, earthly, biological body. And it's filled with this life-giving force, which is your own energy. It's like it's moving. You're growing into it. It's like you're blooming. It's like you've been a plant forever, a mushroom if you prefer, and suddenly the fruit comes out. It's expansive and beautiful and joyful, and probably for the next few generations there will be people learning about and exploring this energy that comes, this Kundalini process. And one way to look at it is, if you are like a chimes or a string instrument, a guitar, a cello, a bass, if you picture strumming across them, the energy coming through, it will make whatever noises that they're tuned to. If your instrument is well tuned, you'll be nice, graceful, beautiful music. If your instrument is not in tune, then it might make some discordant things. And this is the way it comes through the body. And when it hits things that are not well, parts of the body that are not in good shape, emotional blocks, emotions, feelings, experiences that we actually hold in our physical body, when it hits those, it will begin to move them and shake them and evolve. And you may go through emotional turmoil. You may have a catharsis of things. And you may start thinking about many things. You may want to withdraw, not be with people so much. But dear heart, there is nothing in this energy that can ever truly harm you. But use some common sense, because though it's esoteric, it isn't all about yoga. It isn't all called Kundalini. It's the awakening. Some will awaken before others because they started before others. Many will not ever be interested or perhaps know what happened. But you will, because you're watching a channel like this, because you're curious. It's always good to have someone to talk to, someone to focus on, someone to can give you some experience and support, even if they don't totally understand how you're experiencing it. If they've had some of their own experiences, they can relate. And it's that sincerity, that authenticity, that closeness of one soul to another that can sometimes help us along the way. So, I don't know if this has been helpful or not, but the terror of Kundalini yoga, my goodness, anything can be a terror and it can be a blessing, but it's a part of who you are. It's part of who you're going to be. And if it's your time, if it's you're giving birth to it because of your experience, because of your desires, because of your need, it will eventually begin to come forth. It would be good to have a path, helpful, not mandatory. And many exciting, beautiful adventures are ahead of you in consciousness and how your body works, how your mind works, the nature of God and your relationship with the universe. If you want lists of things that may or may not happen, you can write them all down. Everything, people blame everything. People will blame butterflies landing on a leaf as being a part of Kundalini awakening. They will say, I have a corn on my foot, and that's part of, some say they got warts after they had Kundalini awakening. We are all a little bit crazy. And I can say that because I've been a licensed professional mental health worker, which is enormously beneficial and helpful when dealing with these things. So, those are my thoughts. There will be a few more discourses as time goes on. We'll see how it goes. Please subscribe or comment. Whether you like or don't like, tell me what you don't like, and tell me what you do like. If there's interest, I will continue. Otherwise, I will continue in the comfort of my sacred mountains, along the path that I've chosen. I wish you well. I wish you many blessings. I am Adesh, and I am here. Aum Maha Dharma Adnipoche.